Okay, well, it seems like unfortunately, due to circumstances, we're going to have to take this whole thing online. So I'm going to be doing a 4 series video tutorial to kind of give you an idea what we would have been doing on Wednesday today. So if you go to the Google Drive document that I created, go ahead and grab this file. And as you can see, there's going to be three chairs and one piece of a chair. So this is going to be the 3 different assignments. So the first one we're going to worry about is going to be the optimization assignment, so go ahead and switch to this chair right here is going to be the first one we're going to be using. So if you can, select everything and then hit H to hide it, and this is where we're going to focus on. So the assignment is going to be, we're going to go and take a section of this. As you can see, the top of this chair has been separated, and the idea in this assignment is to kind of give you an idea what is it you need to do whenever you're going to do some optimization for a high poly object into something that's more low poly. So now that we have that, we're going to go and check it out on wireframe 3D mode. As you can see, it's quite a lot of polys. It's a bit too much for something to use in game, so we're going to obviously start taking that down a little bit. So let's go ahead and switch to a mode that I can work with. I'm going to go into edit mode, and as you can see, there's way too much, and some of this has to be reduced. So I'm going to go ahead and edge mode, and a good rule of thumb when it comes to optimization is that you're going to whatever you do when you optimize, you have to try to protect the silhouette of this object. So in this case, as you can see, you have these points right here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, where the mesh starts to turn in the shape of this chair. So those are the areas right there that I want to focus on preserving when I'm doing this assignment and such. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to top view and edit mode already. And what I want to do, if your mesh has some sort of a midpoint, which mine does, which is roughly right here, a good rule of thumb is to start by stripping out every other loop in the mesh, and then do that for at least one side, and then do it for the other. So in this case, I am going to hit Alt. See if my center is right there. So Alt, which does the whole selection of the loop, and then if I do hold Alt and Shift, I can just start selecting here, and then just every other. So every other. Every other, and let's do the same for the other side. So let's see, maybe a little bit more. And so after I've selected all these, this is a good probably point to start, because this is right here where the curve is about to start going. So after I do that, then I hit X, and then the delete menu comes up. So instead of deleting faces and vertices, you're going to be using dissolving. And dissolving, what it does, it removes the edge loop. However, it doesn't remove the actual geometry and such. So I'm going to go ahead and do dissolve edges. Boom. And as you can see, it took out all the edge loops. So go ahead and when you do that, start to save. Because you have to remember, as you optimize, you have to make sure to constantly look at your mesh in case by some chance you do something unwanted, which can occur when you have something like this, which is high in polygons and such. So I'm going to go right here, start it again with the same. So holding Alt, that looped, and then Alt and Shift. I think in this case, I just want to take 2 from that side, and 1 and 2, and again, X, and dissolve edges. So that's already a good start, and as you can see, there's already some places that we can do so. For example, if you zoom into the mesh, they have these 2 cuts right here, this one and this one. Those can completely go, so I select that one, and I select that one. Then I do X, and dissolve edges. That's pretty good so far. It's not a bad start, so let's go ahead and try to see how much more of this we can get. This feels right here more or less like the midpoint for me, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that one, and every other. Alright, let's go ahead and try that again. Midpoint right here, that one, hold Shift, and then every other. And then as you can see, I've taken it up right to the point where that turn of the edge is going to be right here in the mesh, which is the important place in the silhouette that we have to protect. So I'm going to go ahead and hit X and dissolve edges. As you can see, it's already improved quite a bit. Maybe I missed some of these. Let me go ahead and try that again. Take that one, X, dissolve edges. That's still good. And then again, now that we've done that, we could do a secondary pass with this so it has a little bit more. You could, of course, this is going to affect the silhouette a tiny bit, but in the end, it's worth it. So this is going to be the point right here we're going to use to preserve it. So I'm going to go every other. And then Alt and Shift, every other, and Shift, and I can probably get away with this one. Try it out to see how it works. Yeah, not bad. And then go right to the top. This is going to be the point where it's going to hold the silhouette. So I'm going to hit every other, Alt, and then Alt Shift. And Shift and Alt. Then X, dissolve edges. So as you can see already, the mesh is starting to be a little bit more poly. So now that you've done that, you're going to go back to the top. And then you're going to take another try at every other again when it comes to removing some of these lines. So this is my center one, so I'm going to go with this one. Alt and Shift, and then every other again. And up to this point, we're going to keep it to where this, right when their chair meets. So I'm going to do the same for the other side. Cool, good start. X and dissolve edges. As you can see, it's starting to have a nice effect. I think I might have accidentally cut one too much, so let me go ahead and move this one. And then X, dissolve edges. As you can see, now it's starting to go down, and now we're going to go ahead and take another stab at this profile in this way. So this is my center point, so now again, every other. And every other. X and dissolve edges. As you can see, the tries on this is slowly starting to go down a bit, and then we could probably afford to do it again one more time. So in this case, we don't need the center one since we have a very long right here edge when it comes to this. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one as well and get these two. This one can probably go. Let's try it to see how it looks. No, I'm going to go ahead and exclude the other one. It took a little bit too much. So dissolve edges. It's a slight bit, and there's going to be some slight changes sometimes in meshes like this, but that's the sacrifice you're going to have to pay. Only the keen eye really notices whenever someone deletes something like this. So I think in this case, maybe as well, I can go ahead and take this one, X, dissolve edges, and it's altogether livable. Maybe I could also come right here and take that one. And as you can see, it still holds the basic shape, but it's still, you could use a little bit more of optimization. So let's go back to the top view and go ahead and take some of these off the side right here. So we need the focal point where we're going to keep our silhouette. So I think I can take this one, 3, and do the same for the other side. 1, 2, 3, and that's Alt and Shift. X, dissolve edges. As you can see, it didn't have too much of a big impact, and we can probably go ahead and take this one and this one right here. X, dissolve edges, and it's still actually doing good, but it could use a tiny bit more, and I think I could probably take it a little bit further in the optimization. So I'm going to go ahead and take the center one this time, and then every other. See how this works. Sometimes you have to try different things and see what works for you. In this case, it is, see, not a big difference. So as you can see, I have simplified the hell out of this. So then the one last step that you have is to go ahead and take these vertices right here, these rows, and then weld them to the front and the back. So because as you can see, they're not really doing anything for that silhouette. So I want to keep this outer section. So these vertices right here on the corners that hold the silhouette, I'm going to keep, and the rest I'm going to weld together. So I'm going to go outside of X-ray mode. And if you have this option right here clicked, it's really great. It's auto merge vertices. So whenever I move anything, it's going to merge it, my vertices to the one that I move it to. So I'm going to get my move tool and then turn on my snap tool and make sure on my snap tool that vertex is turned on, to the little arrow to the right. So then when I do that, I press 1 in edit mode, and then I take this and then I drag it here and here. See, as you can see, I dragged it to the wrong place by that, but then it's corrected right there, there, and there. And I can probably afford to drag this one here. That doesn't have too much of a harsh effect on it. And then I'm going to do the same for the ones at the bottom. So to be able to work, let's go ahead and hide the rest of the other stuff. So I'm going to go to object mode, and I'm going to click on the rest and hit H, so I can just work purely on that. And so you can see some of the optimization has had a negative effect on the shading, but we'll fix that afterwards. So I'll go back to edit mode, take some of these vertices, and again, snap them. And make sure you do that at an angle. You can make sure that it doesn't snap to the wrong location, because if you're not paying attention, it could actually ruin your mesh. So I'm going to take this, snap it, this, and snap it, this, and snap it, and this, and snap it. I'm going to go to the back, grab that, snap it here, and snap it. So there you go. I've done the main optimization part. As you can see, the difference between that is quite dramatic. So let's go ahead and do the back right here. This section, take it again. Go to a good view that you can see to make sure you're snapping these to the right location. So I'm going to take all of these, snap that, snap that, snap that, get to the side, and snap that. So now that we're done snapping, we look for any errors, and as you can see, we just have a slight bit of an error in the shading. So with a 3D view turned on, so you can grab the whole thing, select it, and then hit, no, sorry, you have to go to outside edit mode, you go to object mode, you right click it, and you put shade smooth. And then if you go into the what is that, the object data properties, you go to the normals and you hit auto smooth. That should be able to fix it, but no, it does not. I do not get that. Shade flat. Maybe the best thing would do is just actually grab the individual faces. So I'll go here. I will go to edit mode, and I will select all these. Helps to turn that off. Shade smooth. Smooth. And this is one of these things that I really don't like about Blender, is the fact that you can actually not assign these as individual smoothing groups. So see how well this is going to come out. I'm not very hopeful, but we will see. Cool, and then right click and shade smooth. And then as you can see, again, the reason why I'm not really keen on Blender, but there you go. That is the process that you take right there to be able to take a mesh and optimize it to get it to something low poly that you could use, or get it to something that you could actually use for in-game purposes right before you unwrap it. Let me go ahead and get this last one and shade smooth. And then there you go. That is what the process you do if you want to take an object and bring it from a high poly mode into a lower one. How much you need to take off, of course, is entirely on you, but in this case, I wanted to get enough where it has the minimum amount of mesh, but more or less the same amount of shape, and that's the end for this first assignment. Thank you.